He saw them across the room, 3 identical faces staring back at him. His face, 3 years old, perfect copies of the man he used to be before he destroyed everything. The woman holding their hands, the one he threw away 4 years ago, the one he told never to come back. She's here. They're here. And he just realized, power means nothing when you've lost everything that matters. Tonight, the most feared man in the underworld will face the only enemy he can't defeat, the family he never knew existed. The ballroom glittered like a lie. Crystal chandeliers, designer suits, polite smiles masking cutthroat ambition, another corporate gala. Another night of shaking hands with people who feared him more than they respected him. Kwon Jae-hyun moved through the crowd like a shadow. Silent, cold, untouchable. 32 years old. Built like a man who'd survived wars most people only saw in movies. Dark eyes that had witnessed too much. A jaw that never softened. Hands that had built an empire most men only dreamed of. He was the ghost the city whispered about. The name that made grown men look over their shoulders. The youngest Don in the history of the Korean underworld in America. And he was completely alone. Mr. Kwon. A businessman extended his hand, voice shaking slightly. It's an honor. Excuse me. Jae-hyun's voice was quiet. Deadly quiet. The kind of quiet that made people step back without knowing why. He walked toward the bar, his security detail following at a careful distance. Black suits, invisible earpieces. Men who would die for him without question. Men who would never know him. The whiskey burned. But not enough. Nothing burned enough anymore. 4 years. 4 years since he'd felt anything real. 4 years since he'd destroyed the only thing that ever mattered. Jae-hyun. He didn't turn. He didn't need to. He knew that voice better than his own heartbeat. It had haunted him every single night since he'd told her to leave. Since he'd watched her walk away. Since he'd convinced himself it was for her own good. Don't. His voice was granite. Don't say my name like that. Silence. Then, footsteps. Moving away. He closed his eyes, gripped the glass until his knuckles went white. She was here, in this room, after 4 years of silence. 4 years of wondering if she was alive, happy, safe. 4 years of telling himself he'd made the right choice. Liar. Uncle Jay. The voice was small, high-pitched, innocent. Jae-hyun's eyes snapped open. A little boy, maybe 3 years old, stood 2 feet away, smiling up at him with the kind of fearless joy only children possessed. Dark hair. Almond-shaped eyes, a face that looked exactly like the photographs Jae-hyun's mother kept of him as a child. I'm not your uncle. The words came out harsher than intended. The boy's smile didn't fade. Mommy says you look like us. Do you see? We match. Us. Jae-hyun's heart stopped. 2 more boys appeared, identical triplets, all staring up at him with the same innocent curiosity, the same dark eyes, the same dimple in the left cheek when they smiled. His dimple. Keon, Kai, Cade. Her voice cut through the room like a blade. Come here, now. Jae-hyun turned, and there she was. Nia Brooks, the woman he'd loved. The woman he'd destroyed. The woman he'd spent 4 years trying to forget. She looked different, stronger, sharper. Her natural hair was styled in elegant locks that framed her face. She wore a navy dress that spoke of success, confidence, power. Her brown skin glowed under the chandelier lights. But her eyes, those warm, forgiving eyes he remembered, were ice now. Mommy, he looks just like you said. One of the boys, Keon, bounced excitedly. He has our face. Jae-hyun couldn't breathe. Our face. He looked at the 3 boys, then at Nia, then back at the boys. 3 years old, dark hair, almond eyes, his dimple, his face. No. No. Nia. His voice cracked. Actually cracked. The man who never showed weakness. The man who ruled through fear. When, 4 years ago, her voice was steel. The night you told me to leave and never come back. The night you said I was a distraction you couldn't afford. The night you chose your empire over everything. The boys looked between them, sensing the tension, their smiles fading. I found out the next morning. Nia's eyes didn't leave his. I stood outside your building for 2 hours, trying to find the courage to tell you. Then I remembered your face when you said goodbye, the coldness, the finality. So I left. You should have told me. His hands were shaking. Kwon Jae-hyun's hands never shook. Why? She tilted her head. So you could offer me money? A comfortable prison? A life in your shadow while you played king? They're my sons. No. Her voice dropped to a deadly whisper. They're my sons. You're just the man who looks like them. One of the boys, the smallest one, tugged on Nia's dress. Mommy, why are you sad? She knelt down, her voice softening instantly. I'm not sad, baby, just surprised. Why don't you three go find Auntie Maya? She's by the dessert table. Okay. They ran off, laughing, oblivious to the world shattering around them. Jae-hyun watched them go. Watched 3 pieces of himself disappear into the crowd. 3 lives he'd never known existed. 3 sons. How? He couldn't form words. How did you survive? Nia stood, her armor back in place. I'm stronger than you thought. Smarter than you gave me credit for. I built a life, a career, a family. Without you. I thought I was protecting you. The confession came out broken, raw. My world, what I do, it's not safe. I couldn't risk. You risked nothing. Her eyes blazed. You made a choice. You chose fear over love, power over family, loneliness over the one person who actually saw you. Nia, don't. She held up a hand. Don't say my name like it still means something to you. Don't pretend 4 years of silence can be erased with an explanation. They need to know. He took a step forward. They need to know I'm their father. Why? She didn't back away. So you can confuse them? Hurt them? Teach them that love is something you throw away when it gets inconvenient? I never stopped. He stopped. Swallowed. I never stopped thinking about you. Good. Her smile was bitter. I hope it hurt. I hope every single night was hell. Because that's what you gave me. She turned to leave. Wait. His hand caught her wrist, gentle, desperate. Please, just wait. She looked down at his hand, then up at his face, and for just a moment he saw it. The flash of pain, of longing, of everything they'd lost. Then it was gone. Let go, Jae-hyun. He did, and she walked away. Again. But this time she took 3 pieces of his soul with her. Jae-hyun stood in the middle of the glittering ballroom, surrounded by hundreds of people, more alone than he'd ever been in his life. His head of security approached cautiously. Sir? Is everything? Find out everything. His voice was hollow. Where she lives, where she works. Everything about those boys. Everything. Sir? They're my sons, Minjun. He finally looked at his second-in-command. I have 3 sons, and I didn't know they existed. Minjun's eyes widened. Sir! 4 years. Jae-hyun's laugh was bitter. I spent 4 years building an empire, and I lost everything that mattered. He looked across the room. Nia was kneeling by the dessert table, laughing as the 3 boys showed her something on a plate. Her smile was real, unguarded, the smile he used to live for, the smile he'd killed. One of the boys looked back, made eye contact, waved. Jae-hyun's heart shattered. Get the car. His voice was hollow. I need to leave. Yes, sir. But as Jae-hyun walked toward the exit, he couldn't stop looking back. Couldn't stop seeing 3 little faces that looked exactly like his. Couldn't stop hearing her words. They're my sons. You're just the man who looks like them. He'd built an empire on fear. But tonight, he learned that the most terrifying thing in the world wasn't power. It was realizing you'd thrown away the only thing that could ever make you human. And you might never get it back. Jae-hyun didn't sleep. He sat in his penthouse office, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city that bent to his will, and stared at the photographs Min-jun had delivered at 3 a.m. Nia Brooks, age 29. CEO of Brooks Consulting, a rapidly growing strategy firm specializing in international business development. Net worth, $8, $2 million, self-made, no criminal record, no debts, no dependencies. She'd built an empire while he'd built his, but hers was clean. The next photo, 3 boys sleeping in identical race car beds. Keon, Kai, Cade. 3 years old. Birth certificates listed father as unknown. School records showed advanced development. Soccer team, art class, music lessons. Normal lives. Safe lives. Lives he'd never been part of. Sir? Min-jun stood in the doorway. The morning briefing. Cancel everything. Jae-hyun's voice was distant. For the next week. Sir, the meeting with the Nakamura family. I said everything. Min-jun hesitated, then nodded. Yes, sir. Alone again, Jae-hyun picked up his phone, stared at the screen. He'd typed and deleted the same message 47 times. We need to talk. I need to see them. I'm sorry. All inadequate. All pathetic. What do you say to the woman you destroyed? To the sons you never knew? His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Stop having me followed. If you want to talk, meet me at Lincoln Park. Tomorrow, 6 a.m. Come alone or don't come at all. His heart stopped. Nia. The park was empty at dawn. Frost clung to the grass. The city was still sleeping, unaware that the man who controlled its shadows was sitting on a bench like an ordinary person. Waiting. Jae-hyun wore jeans and a jacket. No suit. No security detail. They were watching from a distance, against every protocol. He'd told them if they interfered, they were fired. This wasn't business. This was survival. You actually came alone. Nia's voice came from behind. I'm impressed. He stood, turned. She wore athletic clothes, her locks pulled back in a ponytail. No makeup, no armor, just her. Still the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. Thank you. His voice was rough. For agreeing to meet. I'm not here for you. She sat on the bench, keeping distance between them. I'm here because my sons asked about the man who looked like them, because Kian said you seemed sad, because Kai wants to know if you like dinosaurs too. His throat closed. And Cade? Cade asked if you were the reason I cry sometimes at night. The words hit like bullets. I never meant... He stopped, started again. I thought I was protecting you. My life, what I do. People get hurt. I couldn't risk you becoming a target. So you made me a target anyway. Her voice was quiet. Do you know what it's like to be thrown away by someone you loved? To wonder every day what you did wrong? To carry 3 babies alone because you were too proud to crawl back to someone who made you feel worthless? You were never worthless. Then why did you treat me like I was? Her eyes met his. Why did you look at me like I was nothing? Because I'm a coward. The confession tore out of him. Because loving you terrified me more than any enemy ever could. Because if something happened to you because of me, I couldn't... His voice broke. I couldn't survive it. So you chose to survive without me instead. Yes. He sat down, keeping distance. And I regretted it every single day. Silence. A jogger passed. A dog barked in the distance. The world kept moving while theirs stood still. They ask about their father sometimes, Nia said finally. I tell them he's far away, that he loved them but couldn't be there, that it's not their fault. It's not. Jae-hyun's hands clenched. It's mine. Everything is mine. I know. She pulled her knees to her chest. That's why I'm here. Because despite everything, I don't want them to grow up thinking their father didn't want them. I don't want them to carry that wound. What are you saying? I'm saying... She took a shaky breath. I'm saying you can meet them, properly, as their father. But there are rules. His heart hammered. Anything. You don't get to be a ghost in their lives. If you're in, you're all in. No disappearing when things get hard. No choosing your empire over them. Ever. I'm not finished. Her voice hardened. You don't get to expose them to your world. They don't meet your associates. They don't see violence. They don't learn that fear is power. You want to be their father? You be a real father. Not a crime lord. Agreed. And you don't get to hurt me again. Her voice cracked slightly. You don't get to pretend the past 4 years didn't happen. We're not together. We're not going to be. You broke us, Jae-hyun. Some things don't heal. The words cut deeper than any blade. I understand. Do you? She finally looked at him. Really looked at him. Because the man I loved would have fought for me, would have found a way. But you just let me go. I was wrong. The admission cost him everything. I was so wrong, Nia. I thought I was strong enough to live without you. I thought power was enough. He stopped. I thought I could control everything, but I can't control how much I still... Don't. She stood abruptly. Don't finish that sentence. You don't get to say you love me after what you did. He stood too. What if it's true? Then you should have loved me 4 years ago when it mattered. She wrapped her arms around herself. Love isn't something you turn on and off when it's convenient. It's showing up. It's fighting. It's choosing someone even when it's hard. You didn't do any of that. I know. His voice was hollow.
A brief pause. Before we begin, pay attention to this. Those who are already part of the channel's premium are watching content that doesn't appear here, getting videos before everyone else, and following the channel in a different way. Closer, more exclusive. If you watch often, if this content is already part of your routine, then this is for you. Joining is simple. Just click join here on YouTube.
I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry, Nia. I destroyed everything. Stop. Tears slid down her cheeks. Stop apologizing. It doesn't change anything. Then what do I do? The question came out desperate. Tell me what to do. Be their father. She wiped her eyes roughly. That's all you get. That's all I can give you. He nodded, even though it was killing him. Even though he wanted to pull her into his arms and beg for forgiveness until she believed him. When? His voice was rough. When can I see them? Saturday, 10 a.m., my house. We'll tell them together. She pulled out her phone, sent him an address. And Jae-hyun? Yes? Come as yourself, not the Don, not the king, just the man who happens to be their father. She walked away before he could respond. Jae-hyun stood alone in the empty park as the sun rose, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Beautiful, painful, like everything he'd lost. Minjun appeared at his side. Sir? I have sons, Minjun. Jae-hyun's voice was distant. 3 sons who don't know me, who don't need me, who've been fine without me. What will you do? Learn. He watched Nia disappear into the morning light. Learn how to be something other than what I am. Learn how to be what they need. And if you can't? Jae-hyun was quiet for a long moment. Then I'll have lost twice. Saturday morning came too slowly and too fast. Jae-hyun stood outside a modest house in a quiet neighborhood, the kind of place where children rode bikes and neighbors waved to each other. A place that felt alien to someone who lived in the shadows. His hands were shaking. The door opened before he could knock. Nia stood there, guarded but determined. They're nervous, excited, confused. Be gentle. I will. He paused. Thank you, for this. She stepped aside, letting him into a home filled with warmth he'd forgotten existed. Children's drawings on the refrigerator, toys scattered across the living room, photographs everywhere, Nia pregnant, glowing. 3 newborns. First birthdays. First steps. 4 years of life he'd missed. Daddy's here, Nia called softly. Jae-hyun's heart stopped at the word. Daddy. 3 small figures appeared at the top of the stairs, peeking through the banister. It's okay, Nia encouraged. Come say hi. They descended slowly, staying close to each other. Protective, curious, cautious. Jae-hyun knelt down, making himself small, unthreatening. Hi. His voice was gentle. I'm your dad. The boys stared. Then Kian, the bold one, stepped forward. Mommy says you were far away. His voice was serious. Are you still far away? No. Jae-hyun's throat tightened. Not anymore. Not if you want me here. Do you like dinosaurs? Kai asked, clutching a plastic T-Rex. I don't know much about them, Jae-hyun admitted, but I'd like to learn. I can teach you. Kai's eyes lit up. I know everything about dinosaurs. Cade, the quietest, hung back, watching, assessing. Smart kid. Cade. Jae-hyun kept his voice soft. What do you like? Drawing. His voice was barely a whisper. And music. Your mom told me you're really good at both. A tiny smile. Yeah. For the next 2 hours, Jae-hyun sat on the floor learning about dinosaurs, watching crayon masterpieces come to life, and listening to off-key songs played on a toy keyboard. It was chaos. It was messy. It was the best 2 hours of his life. Naya watched from the kitchen, her expression unreadable. Daddy, can you stay for lunch? Kian asked suddenly. The word still hit like lightning. Daddy, if your mom says it's okay? 3 pairs of eyes turned to Nia. She hesitated, then nodded. Okay, but you 3 need to help set the table. Yes. They scrambled toward the kitchen. Jae-hyun stood slowly, his knees protesting. When was the last time he'd sat on the floor? You're good with them. Nia's voice was quiet. Better than I expected. They're incredible. He watched them through the doorway, arguing about who got which plate. You did that. You raised them to be kind and smart, and they're still yours too. She crossed her arms. They have your stubbornness, your intensity. Cade has your silence. Kian has your fearlessness. Kai has your curiosity. I see you in them too. Their warmth, their strength, their... He stopped. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't. It's fine. But her voice was strained. Let's just get through lunch. Lunch was spaghetti and chaos. The boys fought over who got to sit next to their dad. Kian spilled juice. Kai told the same dinosaur fact 5 times. Cade quietly ate, watching everything. Jae-hyun had negotiated with dangerous men, commanded fear with a look, built an empire on calculated risks. But sitting at this table, pretending to be a normal father, was the hardest thing he'd ever done, because he wasn't normal. And they would find out eventually. After lunch, the boys dragged him outside to play soccer. Nia watched from the porch, her phone pressed to her ear, handling business. Still the CEO, still powerful, still succeeding without him. Daddy, watch! Kian kicked the ball wildly. Jae-hyun caught it, laughing, actually laughing, for the first time in years. Show me how to do that. He kicked it back gently. They played until the boys were exhausted, collapsing in a giggling heap on the grass. Can you come back tomorrow? Kai asked, breathless. Please? Jae-hyun looked at Nia. She was standing now, arms crossed, expression complicated. He didn't know what to say. That's up to your mom. Please, Mommy. All 3 boys chorused. Nia was quiet. Then, we'll see. Say goodbye now. It's nap time. Protests, groans, but they obeyed, hugging Jae-hyun one by one. Bye, Daddy. Bye, Daddy. Bye, Daddy. 3 simple words that destroyed him completely. Nia walked him to the door while the boys headed upstairs. Thank you. His voice was raw. For today. For letting me... Don't thank me. Her voice was tired. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for them. I know. He hesitated. Can I come back? Yes. She looked away. But Jae-hyun, I need you to understand something. They're going to love you. They're already starting to. And when they do, you can't leave. You can't decide it's too hard or too dangerous or too complicated. You're in their lives now. For good. I won't leave. You said that before. The accusation hung between them. I was different then, he said quietly. I thought power was everything. I thought I could control my life by controlling everything around me. But I can't control this. I can't control how much I've missed, how much I want to be here, how much I— Stop. Her voice cracked. Please just stop. I'm sorry. He stepped back. I'll go. Can I text you? About when I can come back? She nodded stiffly. He turned to leave. Made it 3 steps. Jae-hyun? He looked back. Her eyes were wet. Angry. Vulnerable. Don't hurt them. Please. Whatever else you do, don't hurt them. I won't. The vow came from somewhere deep. I swear on my life, Nia, I won't hurt them. But you'll hurt me? The question stopped his heart. I already did. His voice broke. And I'll spend the rest of my life wishing I hadn't. He walked away before she could respond, before she could see that the most feared man in the city was crying in broad daylight. Behind him, through the window, he heard 3 small voices. When is Daddy coming back? I hope tomorrow. Me too. And for the first time in 4 years, Kwon Jae-hyun felt something other than emptiness. He felt hope and terror, because now he had something to lose again. Everything. 3 weeks. 3 weeks of soccer games and bedtime stories. 3 weeks of learning that Kian hated broccoli. Kai was afraid of thunderstorms, and Cade drew pictures of families with 4 people instead of 3 now. 3 weeks of feeling human again. Jae-hyun stood in his office, staring at surveillance photos spread across his desk. His world, the real world, hadn't disappeared just because he'd found something worth living for. The Kozlov family is asking questions. Minjun's voice was careful. About why you've been unavailable. Tell them I'm handling personal matters. Sir, they're not the only ones. The entire organization is noticing your absences. People are getting nervous. Let them be nervous. Minjun hesitated. There's something else. Someone's been watching the house in Riverside. The one you've been visiting. Jae-hyun's blood went cold. Who? We don't know yet. But sir, if someone connects those boys to you, then we eliminate the threat. His voice dropped to deadly quiet. Whoever it is, find them, now. Already working on it. Minjun paused. Sir, permission to speak freely? Go ahead. You can't live in both worlds. Eventually you'll have to choose. Jae-hyun said nothing. Because Minjun was right, and he had no idea how to make that choice. That evening, he sat on Nia's living room floor, helping Cade color a picture of a family. This is you. Cade pointed to a tall figure. And this is Mommy. And this is me and Kai and Kian. It's perfect. Jae-hyun's voice was soft. Can you stay for dinner again? Cade looked up, hopeful. If your mom says it's okay? Nia appeared in the doorway, phone in hand, expression strained. Can I talk to you? Outside? His stomach dropped. Of course. They stood on the porch, the autumn air cold between them. Someone followed me today. Her voice was tight. A black SUV. They parked outside my office for 3 hours. Jae-hyun's jaw clenched. Did they approach you? No. But Jae-hyun, I'm not stupid. This is about you, isn't it? Your world is bleeding into ours. I'm handling it. Handling it? Her voice rose. Someone is watching me, watching our sons, and you're just going to handle it? Nia, this is exactly what I was afraid of. She wrapped her arms around herself. This is why I didn't tell you about them. Because I knew your life would put them in danger. They're not in danger. But the words felt hollow. I won't let anyone hurt you. Any of you. You can't promise that. Her eyes blazed. You can't control everything, no matter how powerful you think you are. Then what do you want me to do? The question came out sharper than intended. Walk away? Disappear? Pretend they don't exist? I want you to choose. The words tore out of her. I want you to decide whether you're a father or a crime lord because you can't be both. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. Tears streamed down her face. It's exactly that simple, Jae-hyun. You either choose this life, this safe, normal, beautiful life with your sons, or you choose your empire. But you don't get both. Not when both puts them at risk. The door opened. Kian stood there, small and confused. Why are you fighting? His voice trembled. Are you going away again, Daddy? The question shattered something in Jae-hyun's chest. He knelt down, eye level with his son. No, I'm not going anywhere. Promise? I promise. Kian hugged him tight. Jae-hyun closed his eyes, feeling the weight of everything he stood to lose. When Kian went back inside, Nia's voice was hollow. Don't make promises you can't keep. I meant it. Then prove it. She looked at him with eyes full of pain and challenge. Show me that we matter more than your empire. Show me you've actually changed. How? I don't know. Her voice broke. But figure it out, before someone gets hurt. She went inside, leaving him alone on the porch. Jae-hyun pulled out his phone, called Min-jun. Find whoever's watching them. And Min-jun, when you do, I want to send a message. A clear one. My family is untouchable. Understood, sir. He hung up, stared at the house, warm light glowing through windows, shadows of his sons playing inside. A choice. That's what everyone kept demanding. But how do you choose between your past and your future? Between power and love? Between who you were and who you want to be? 2 days later, Min-jun delivered news that changed everything. The surveillance wasn't random. He placed a file on Jae-hyun's desk. It was Viktor Kozlov. He knows about the boys, about Nia. He's calling it your weakness. Jae-hyun's hands tightened into fists. What does he want? A meeting, tomorrow night. He says if you don't show, he'll introduce himself to your family personally. The threat was clear, calculated, designed to force Jae-hyun back into his world. Set it up. His voice was ice. And prepare the security detail, full protocol. Sir, if you go to this meeting, I know. Jae-hyun stood, walked to the window. I know what it means, but if I don't go, he'll hurt them, and I can't let that happen. What about Ms. Brooks? The boys? They can't know. The decision was agony. If Nia finds out I'm still, she'll never let me see them again. With respect, sir, you're playing a dangerous game. Eventually, she'll find out. Then I have to end this, permanently. Jae-hyun turned. Viktor Kozlov threatens my family. He doesn't get to walk away. Min-jun's expression darkened. Sir, that's... war? Jae-hyun's smile was sharp. Good. Let him learn what happens when someone threatens what's mine. But even as he said it, he heard Nia's voice in his head. You can't be both. And Cade's small voice. Are you going away again, Daddy? He was standing on the edge of 2 worlds. And no matter which way he jumped, someone he loved would get hurt. The warehouse was cold, empty. The kind of place where secrets were buried and debts were paid in blood. Jae-hyun stood in the center, flanked by his security. 20 men, armed, loyal, ready to die on his command. Across from him, Viktor Kozlov leaned against a metal container, smiling like he'd already won. Kwon Jae-hyun. His accent was thick. The untouchable king finally shows his face. You wanted a meeting. Jae-hyun's voice was dead calm. Talk. You've been distracted. Viktor lit a cigarette. Missed shipments, delayed deals. The whole organization is wondering if their leader has lost his edge. My business is not your concern. But it is. Viktor exhaled smoke slowly. Because weakness in one of us makes all of us vulnerable. And you, my friend, have become very weak. Get to the point. The woman, the children. Viktor's smile widened. 3 little boys who look just like you. That's quite a vulnerability, don't you think? Every muscle in Jae-hyun's body coiled. Touch them, and you're dead. Threats? Viktor laughed. From a man who's been playing house instead of running his empire? Please. You've gone soft, Kwan. Everyone sees it. Then they're fools. Jae-hyun stepped forward. I'm giving you one chance, Victor. Walk away. Forget you ever saw them. And I'll forget this conversation happened. Or what? You'll kill me. Victor gestured around. I'm not alone here, friend. You may have 20 men, but I have something more valuable. Information, evidence, a nice little package ready to be delivered to your enemies if anything happens to me. What do you want? Your territory, your connections, your empire. Victor's eyes glittered. Step down voluntarily and your family stays safe. Refuse and everyone learns about your little secret. How long do you think those boys survive once the vultures start circling? The ultimatum hung in the air like poison. Give up everything he'd built, or watch his sons become targets. I need time to think. You have 24 hours. Victor crushed his cigarette. Choose wisely, Kwan. Some things are more important than power. He walked away, his men following, leaving Jae-hyun standing in the empty warehouse, alone with an impossible choice. Jae-hyun didn't go to Nia's house that night. Instead, he sat in his penthouse, staring at his phone. 17 missed calls from Kian. Daddy, where are you? 3 voicemails from Nia, her voice getting progressively worried, then angry. 1 text from Kai. Did we do something wrong? Each message was a knife. Min-jun entered quietly. Sir, the council is assembled. They're waiting for your decision. Tell them I need more time. With respect, sir, we don't have time. If you step down, the entire organization falls apart. If you fight, people die, including possibly... I know. Jae-hyun's voice was hollow. I know, Min-jun. What are you going to do? I don't know. He looked at his second in command. You have family? A sister, 2 nieces. Would you die for them? Without question. Would you kill for them? Min-jun met his eyes. I already have, sir. Jae-hyun nodded slowly. Then you understand. I do. Min-jun paused. But sir, there might be another option. I'm listening. What if you didn't choose? What if you changed the game entirely? Explain. Min-jun pulled out a folder. Your empire is built on fear and violence. That's the only language people like Kozlov understand. But what if you rebuilt? What if you legitimized everything, turned your operations legal, and walked away from the underground? That would take years. Or weeks. If you're willing to burn bridges. Min-jun's expression was serious. You have enough legitimate holdings to survive without the criminal enterprises. Real estate, investments, legal businesses. You could walk away clean, sir. Give Kozlov the underground empire. Keep your family safe. Start over. I'd lose everything. You'd lose power, Min-jun corrected. But you'd gain something more valuable. A life. A real one. Jae-hyun stared at the folder. At a future where he wasn't a crime lord. Where his sons didn't have to fear their father's world. Where Nia might actually forgive him. If I do this, there's no going back. No, sir, there isn't. And my reputation? Gone. You'd be seen as weak. Broken. A man who chose love over power. Min-jun's expression softened. But your sons would have a father, and isn't that worth more than any empire? Jae-hyun closed his eyes. Saw 3 small faces, heard their laughter, felt their hugs, remembered Nia's words. Choose. Set up a meeting with my lawyers. His voice was quiet but certain. All of them. And get me the paperwork to transfer everything criminal to Victor. I want it done in 48 hours. Sir, I'm choosing Min-jun. He stood, feeling lighter than he had in years. I'm finally choosing the right thing. The next morning, Jae-hyun showed up at Nia's door. She opened it, angry. Where were you? The boys were... She stopped. You look different. Can I come in? I need to tell you something. She let him in warily. The boys ran up, confusion and relief on their faces. Daddy, you didn't come yesterday? I know. He knelt down. And I'm sorry, but I need to talk to your mom for a minute. Can you three play upstairs? They hesitated but obeyed. When they were alone, Jae-hyun looked at Nia. I'm out. What? My organization, my empire, everything. He pulled out legal documents. I'm transferring it all, legitimizing my holdings, walking away from everything illegal. She stared at him. Why? Because you were right. His voice cracked. I can't be both, and I choose them. I choose you. I choose this life over that one. Jae-hyun. I know it doesn't fix the past. I know it doesn't erase what I did. But I'm trying, Nia. I'm trying to be the man they deserve. The man you deserved 4 years ago. Tears filled her eyes. Do you understand what you're giving up? Power, respect, fear. He smiled sadly. All things that mean nothing without you. You're going to have enemies. People who see this as weakness. Let them. He stepped closer. I spent 4 years being untouchable and completely alone. I'd rather be vulnerable with you than powerful without you. She was crying now. Really crying. I'm still angry at you, she whispered. I'm still hurt. I know. And this doesn't mean we're... I know. He reached up, gently wiped a tear. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just asking for a chance to earn it. She looked at him for a long moment, then pulled away. The boys need consistency, stability. Can you give them that? Yes. No more disappearing, no more secrets, no more empire pulling you away. Never again. She took a shaky breath. Then, okay, you can stay. Be their father. But Jae-hyun, if you hurt them, if you hurt me again, I won't. The vow was iron. I swear on everything I am, Nia. I won't. In-see, from upstairs, 3 small voices called, Can Daddy stay for breakfast? Nia smiled through tears. Yeah, he can stay. And for the first time in 4 years, Kwon Jae-hyun felt like he'd finally come home. 6 months later, morning light filtered through curtains Jae-hyun still wasn't used to. Soft. Warm. Nothing like the cold glass of his old penthouse. This house, their house now, smelled like coffee and chaos. Daddy, Kai took my dinosaur. Did not. Did too. Jae-hyun smiled, rolled out of bed. 6 months ago, he'd commanded an empire built on fear. Now he refereed dinosaur disputes before breakfast, best decision he'd ever made. He found the boys in the living room, Kian and Kai wrestling over a plastic T-Rex, while Cade calmly read a book in the corner. All right. Jae-hyun used his dad voice, the one that somehow worked better than his crime lord voice ever had. What's the problem? Both boys started talking at once, one at a time. He sat on the floor. Kian, you first. 5 minutes later, the dinosaur crisis was solved. They'd take turns, and the boys were happily playing. Nia appeared in the doorway, coffee in hand, hair wrapped in a silk scarf, wearing one of his old shirts. His heart still stopped when he looked at her. You're getting good at that, she observed. At what? Being a dad. She sat next to him, close enough that their shoulders touched. They listen to you now. Trust you. I had a good teacher. He looked at her. How'd you do this alone for 3 years? I don't know. She smiled. But I'm glad I don't have to anymore. Things between them were slow, careful. She still had walls, and he understood why. He'd broken her trust, and trust took time to rebuild. But they were trying. Some nights, after the boys were asleep, they'd sit on the porch and talk. Really talk. About the past. About the pain. About what they wanted the future to look like. Other nights, they'd watch movies together, her feet in his lap, comfortable silence between them. Last week, she'd fallen asleep on his shoulder. He'd stayed perfectly still for 2 hours, terrified of waking her, grateful for every second. Progress. Daddy, can we go to the park? Kai asked. After breakfast. Everyone needs to eat first. Can we have pancakes? If you help make them. 3 small bodies rushed toward the kitchen. Nia laughed. You created monsters. Best monsters I've ever known. He stood, offered her his hand. Come on. You supervise while I cook. We all know I still burn things. Truth. She took his hand, let him pull her up. Her fingers lingered in his for just a moment longer than necessary. Progress. Later that afternoon, at the park, Jae-hyun pushed all 3 boys on the swings while Nia sat on a bench working on her laptop. Higher, Daddy! No, higher. I want to touch the sky. He laughed, genuinely happy in a way he'd forgotten was possible. Another parent approached, a woman he'd seen here before. Friendly smile, baby on her hip. Your boys are adorable. How old? 3. He caught Kian as he jumped off. And a handful. Aren't they all? She laughed. I'm Rebecca, by the way. We're here most Saturdays. Jae-hyun, nice to meet you. Normal conversation. Normal life. No one knew who he used to be. What he used to do. Here, he was just a dad. And it was enough. Nia joined them, slipping her hand into his naturally. Ready to go? We need to pick up stuff for dinner. Yeah. He squeezed her hand gently. Boys, 5 more minutes. Groans, protests. But they obeyed. In the car, Cade leaned forward from the back seat. Daddy? Yeah, bud? Are you happy? The question caught him off guard. He looked at Nia, at 3 small faces in the rearview mirror. At this life he'd almost missed. Yeah. His voice was thick. I'm really happy. Are you? Yeah. Cade smiled. I like when you're here. Me too, Kai chimed in. Me 3, Kian added. Nia's hand found his on the gear shift, squeezed. Me 4, she whispered. That evening, after dinner and baths and 3 separate bedtime stories, Jae-hyun and Nia stood in the doorway of the boys' room, watching them sleep. Thank you. His voice was quiet. For giving me this chance, for letting me be their father. Thank you for choosing us. She leaned her head on his shoulder. I know it wasn't easy. Easiest decision I ever made. He kissed the top of her head. I just wish I'd made it 4 years ago. We can't change the past. She turned to look at him. But we can build something better in the future. Is that what we're doing? Building something? She was quiet. Then, I think so. Slowly, carefully, but yeah. I think so. Hope flickered in his chest. Nia? Don't. She pressed a finger to his lips. Don't rush. Don't push. We're getting there, Jae-hyun. But I need time. I can wait. He caught her hand, held it gently. I'd wait forever if that's what you needed. Hopefully not that long. She smiled. But thank you. They walked downstairs together, comfortable in the silence. I'm going to make tea. Want some? She offered. Yeah, thanks. While she worked in the kitchen, Jae-hyun looked around the living room, at the life they'd built. Toys scattered everywhere, drawings on the fridge, photos of soccer games and birthday parties. 6 months ago, he'd ruled through fear. Now he was conquered by love, and he'd never been more powerful. His phone buzzed. Min-jun. Final papers signed. You're officially out. Congratulations, sir. Jae-hyun deleted the message. That life was over. This was his empire now. Nia returned with 2 mugs, handed him one. What are you thinking about? How lucky I am. He took a sip. How close I came to losing all of this. But you didn't. She sat next to him, curled her legs under her. You chose us. That matters. Does it? He looked at her. Does it make up for the past? No. She was honest. But it's a start. And Jae-hyun, I'm learning that love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, fighting for what matters, choosing someone even when it's hard. She paused. You're doing that now, every day, and I see it. I'm trying. I know. Her hand found his. And maybe someday I'll be ready to try again too. His heart stopped. You mean, I'm not ready yet. Her eyes met his. But I'm not saying never anymore. I'm saying, maybe, eventually. If we keep building this, I can work with maybe. His voice was thick. Maybe is more than I deserve. Probably, she smiled. But you're getting it anyway. They sat there, hands intertwined, two people slowly healing from wounds they'd both caused. Outside, the neighborhood was quiet, safe, normal. Inside, three boys slept peacefully, knowing both their parents were home. And for the first time in years, Kwon Jae-hyun believed that maybe, just maybe, he could have everything that mattered. Not an empire built on fear, but a family built on love. And that was the greatest power of all. 1 year later, epilogue. Daddy, watch. Jae-hyun looked up from where he was grilling to see Kian show off a soccer move. Nice, he clapped. Show me again. The backyard was full, his mother visiting from Korea, Nia's friends, a few neighbors, the boys' classmates running wild, a birthday party for the boy's 5th birthday. Need help? Nia appeared at his side, pregnant belly prominent, hand on her lower back. I got it. He guided her to a chair. You're supposed to be resting. I'm pregnant, not dying. But she sat anyway. She's active today. She? His eyes lit up. Slip of the tongue. Nia smiled mysteriously. We're waiting to find out, remember? You're killing me. He knelt beside her, hand on her belly. This baby is going to have 3 very protective big brothers. And 1 very devoted father. She ran her fingers through his hair. I'm glad you're here, Jae-hyun. Where else would I be? He looked up at her. This is everything. I know. She leaned down, kissed him softly. I love you. The words still hit like lightning. She'd said them for the first time 3 months ago. They still made him weak. I love you too. He kissed her again. Always have, always will. Gross, Kai yelled. They're kissing again. Laughter, the boys making faces, the party continuing. Jae-hyun stood, pulled Nia close, her belly between them, his hand protective over where their daughter grew. He'd lost 4 years to fear and pride, but he'd gained everything that mattered. 3 sons who called him daddy without hesitation. A woman who'd learned to love him again despite everything. A daughter on the way. A life built on truth instead of shadows. He'd been a king once. Feared, powerful, untouchable. Now he was just a man. A father, a partner, a person trying to be better. And he'd never been happier. The greatest empire he'd ever built wasn't made of power or fear. It was made of love. And it was finally, beautifully, perfectly his.
Before you go, just a quick reminder. If you want exclusive stories, members-only videos, and early access before anyone else, you can become a channel member by clicking Join right here on YouTube. Your support helps this channel grow and allows me to bring you deeper, more powerful stories every week. All support options are in the description. Thank you for being here. See you in the next story.